pulling the all-nighters here and there trying to sleep.
It sounds like you're in your own way. Are you ready to take that ownership and to actually be resourceful?
This mountain is just so huge, I just can't.
I have an insane amount of sauce for you guys today. We're going to dive into an $8,000 deal closed live. There's a lot of nuances that are going on in this call. I pre-handled almost every objection you could think of, from time, money, spouse, skepticism. I pre-handled all of it. And this was a super challenging call, super challenging. I think 99.9% of people would have just folded and let her go. Pay close attention. Again, I'm going to break down everything that I did that worked well on this call so that you could be able to take it into your calls. For context around what I sell, this is executive coaching for doctors and nurse practitioners. And so helping them with time management, helping them be more present with their family, helping them be faster at charting. That's a lot of the key of what we talk about here. And so the thing with a lot of these doctors is they try to externalize and they don't take ownership for their situation. And so you're going to see all of this live without her getting defensive, without it getting combative. It got a little combative, but we got it back on track. And let's dive in.
How are you today?
I'm good. I'm staying out of trouble. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. I'm gonna have to plug my phone in.
Yeah, no worries. Go ahead. Do you hear me good?
I can hear you excellent. How are we?
Yes, perfect. I hear you good. Do you see me good?
I do. I don't have my camera on though, evidently.
So that is like a very lighthearted way of getting them to turn their camera on. I got this from Jeremy Miner. Shout out to Jeremy. It's first, do you see me good? I mean, do you hear me good? Yes. Do you see me good? Yes. Okay, I can hear you, but I can't quite see you. This subtly tells them, turn your fucking camera on without having to directly be like, yo, we have to have our cameras on this call.
My name's Nick. I'm the director of Provider Wellness. Work with nearly 1,000 NPs, PAs, physicians in a very similar place. And like what I've seen to work best on these calls is we just open up. We see what's actually going on, see if what we're doing here can help. If so, we'll pivot and then talk about potential next steps if it makes sense to. If not, like what we do is definitely not for everyone. So if it's not for you, I'll still point you in the best direction. Would that be helpful?
Sure. Yes.
Cool. So let's rewind. Like, I guess in your words, what would you say?
Even the way she said sure there, again, I'm not addressing it directly, but like even the way she said sure there, that's a very skeptical tone. This is a very skeptical person. So again, you keeping that shit in the back of your mind.
Is the ultimate challenge, obstacle you're hoping to get some guidance on?
I've only been doing this for a few years. I was a nurse for a lot of years. Ran a dialysis unit and stuff. I did have a little trouble initially moving from the nurse role to the physician role because the things I could delegate to other staff. I'm used to just doing it all. And then I struggle with charting because I believe in looking at somebody in the eye when I'm talking to them and not doing anything else, just fold my arms. So I'm not able to on the computer and do that kind of thing while I'm talking to my patient. And then I run out of time to get it done later. So I'm taking a lot of work home with me.
Wow, what's that getting in the way of?
Oh, everything. There's charting all night long, pulling few all-nighters here and there trying to sleep. I inherited a lot of really difficult patients from the previous provider.
And pay attention to the tonality, right? Because I'm dragging out like, wow, what does that get in the way of? I'm dragging it out to bring her in, right? And another thing here is that she's giving me the problems of like, I'm spending too much time with the charting. Easy way to find pain is like, what does that get in the way of?
I work 4 days a week, and so every other weekend's a 4-day weekend. But, I spend it all charting. I would really love to have the freedom to travel to see him during those 4-day weekends, or even go somewhere with my husband or my daughter.
Right. That sounds like especially your dad needs that support, right? And when we look at that, because you said like we're taking a lot of work home, we're charting at night. This isn't like a daily thing though, right? It's maybe like once or twice a week type of thing.
Oh no, it's every day, and I have a long commute too.
Again, don't let that go over your head. Don't let that go over your head. I minimized it. When you minimize it, you make it small, they're going to make it big. And so I asked her, I'm sure like when we talk about taking work home, I'm sure that's not like every day, right? Maybe once in a while. And she's like, no, it's every day. Much better, much more effective than me saying, oh my God, is that happening every single day? Because now she's going to try to downplay it if I make it bigger. This is human nature of you ultimately like want to be the opposite of what someone else is. So always minimize the pain if you want them to maximize it like I just did here.
And there's no way I can, do some of this stuff while I'm driving. I work in FHQ, so we are able to serve a lot of uninsured patients. It's a good cause, but we don't have the most up-to-date charting. I'm the newest provider, so I don't have the staff that's been working with the company for a long time. I have the new staff, and we keep turning over, so I have not had a dedicated staff member since I started until recently. She is amazing. And she just got promoted in the company, so now I've lost her. I have a wonderful husband. He's so amazing. When his career had him working...
So I'm sure you can imagine what we're about to get into now. Now we're about to get ahead of that spouse objection. Now we're about to get in front of the partner objection by doing what I call leveraging spousal guilt, right? The best way to pre-handle a spouse objection is for the person in front of you to ultimately feel like shit about how these problems are affecting their partner. So that's what we're about to get into now.
All the time, I was very supportive. Right now, he's being very supportive of me, but it's still, it's a little taxing when one parent's having to take on the ways that the other parent can't do, and then we don't always have enough time to spend with them. He has been amazing. He will always be amazing. That's just what we do for each other. It hasn't put a strain on our marriage, but I wouldn't want it to.
So being proactive before it does. And obviously he's supportive, like you said. He's amazing, like you said.
So she's trying to minimize it a little bit here, and she's saying, well, it doesn't put a strain on our marriage. Well, he's okay. No. Let's see where it goes.
It sounds like he's supportive, which is good, right? But it sounds like we have a demanding career. You also have a daughter. How does it compromise? Like, I know you said we're not able to have much couples time. What does that look like? Are we still at least getting the date nights? Are we still like having that time together? What does it look like in terms of the marriage?
We haven't had much date night. We do try to. We try to make sure that the other person has plenty of me time too. My husband's, he's got his game nights with his friends. We stay busy. We go to church together. And that's something that doesn't get compromised, period. But I also would love to have my Sundays completely free of anything but church and family and whatever we want to do, And I am spending some of that time working. It's like, we go to church, we have our meal, and then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to sit back here in the office for a while.
Yeah.
So
he's supportive of it, but like, how do you think he actually feels about it though?
Well, he knows that I'm burning the candle at both ends. So he worries.
There it is, right? Again, she's trying really hard to minimize it by saying, well, he's supportive of it. He's not putting much pressure. Okay, how do you think he actually feels about it though? And here it is. He sees that I'm burning the candle at both ends. Now she's downplaying it. And now she's starting to see what is actually going on. Like, these are the components of creating spouse guilt. It's not just word tracks. It's not just they say this, you say this. It's this is what I'm trying to get out of this part of the call. Did I get it? Until you feel like you got it, you don't move on.
But when he was doing this same thing for his job, I stuck with him. I did everything I could to take the weight off of him. And so right now he's in charge of the laundry, and he's in charge of getting Amelia where she has to be, and he's in charge of the grocery shopping. But there was a time when I was in charge of all that. So that part's always going to work, but at the same time, we're both going to remind each other, because it's not sustainable. Where are you going to find?
Does he know about you looking to potentially get outside support so that you?
Yes.
Yeah, he knows.
I told him. I said, so this is available. I said, and so Chris, I was a little surprised. I said it's $3,000 to $20,000 for these programs. He's like, oh wow. And he asked me how I felt about it, and so we kind of talked about it. And I said, I don't know. I have to think. I see what's available, what resources are available, and decide which ones I want, what I need.
What are we pre-handling here? What's the potential out? Think about it. She literally just told me that she had the conversation with her husband, and she's gonna have to think about what she's going to do afterwards. Red flag right there. And again, I'm not saying to address it right away, but what I am saying is to have it in the back of your mind.
I have trouble getting into the groove as I came out of the gate, and I just expected, September will be 2 years. So it's been 20 months. I figured I was going to...
You've been feeling this way that whole 20 months for 2 years.
No, I mean, in the beginning, I was working, and I don't think I got...
So just feedback for myself, I probably wouldn't have said that. I probably would have minimized it, like I said earlier, of, okay, and you haven't been feeling that way that whole 20 months, have you? Because what's happening right here is she's trying to rationalize that she hasn't. And so that's something I would have done differently in this part of the call right here.
It got out of control until probably January, but that's when my mom passed away. But because there was just, yeah. And when I came back from that time to jump back into work, running full speed ahead as the provider, seeing 16 patients a day, and it's just it's a lot.
Just to make sure my mind is organized here. Like, how long have you been seeing that? Like, we're taking work home, we're not having that time with the family.
Well, initially I did. Initially I took a little bit of work home, but I expected to be taking a little bit of work home. I had to get my timing down. I had to learn the system. I had the electronic system. I had to learn how to organize it, organize my thoughts, and get a groove going on. Get comfortable with what I was charting.
Time out for a second. Like, can I ask you a little more like a personal question?
Sure.
Pattern interrupt right there. The timeout. Can I ask you a personal question? We're pausing it for a second. That's a pattern interrupt. So we could dive even deeper. We could get even deeper behind the surface.
We're talking a lot about everyone else, the patients, the daughter, the husband, dealing with this since stepping into being a provider, which sounds like you were doing it so you can have more time, but we're actually having less time. How are you? How are you actually feeling?
I stay prayerful. I read. I do get some time to do some creative stuff. I got to spend time with my family in Arizona and my dad, and so I have been able to do things for them, and those things build me up and make me feel good because they're the things I love.
You look within. How are we actually doing though?
My health's pretty good. My ADD is not managed well.
She's a big minimizer, as you could tell, and she's doing it again right now.
The stress of work or the medication.
Is it like the supermom, superwoman mask of like it seems like you're holding together well? Like, how are you? Are you holding together well internally, or how are you doing?
I'm not doing awful. I'm not doing as good as I want.
What's missing?
Boom. I'm not doing awful. She's trying really hard to downplay, and this is common for medical professionals, is to downplay how they're actually feeling. And so I got a little bit of an inch there of like, I'm not doing awful, but I'm not doing as well as I'm like, okay, well, what's missing as far as like you doing as well as you would like.
The generic form of my Adderall is now all the insurance will pay for, and it is not effective. And it would be beneficial if my medication was as good as it used to be, but I'm so dependent on it anyway to function.
Exactly. What I was going to say, like, besides things like medication, like, what do you think when you say you're not doing as well as you want to be? What do you think is missing, and for you to be doing well as you want? Like, what's missing?
I would like to be going to the gym every day, or taking some time to exercise. I am not getting that. I'm eating decent. I don't have a choice if I eat bad.
So we went from I'm not doing awful to I'm not working out as much as I would like to. So I'm not eating as well as I would like to. Again, I don't want to beat a dead horse here, but this is a result of not moving on until I get what I fucking need.
I get really, really sick. So I'm eating decent. There's not anybody available inside our organization.
Yeah, I'm saying I can tell you're obviously pretty sharp, and like I can tell that there isn't much like inside available. I mean more like external support, right? Of being able to overcome this, like admitting that things aren't working, that we need help. Like, have you tried like looking outside externally to get that
No,
support?
I don't know. I don't even.
Right. I put a frame on her of like, I mean, I could tell you're obviously pretty sharp and you know that the resources that your job gives you isn't enough. Like, what do you think has prevented you from getting support, i.e., executive coaching, like what we do? What's prevented you from getting that support, like seeing that you're a pretty smart woman and you know that what they're giving you isn't enough?
I don't even know where to find a resource like that. I can read my ADD management books. I've gone through those. I mean, I have enough time on the road. I've gone through several of them on Audible. I've gone through my Atomic Habits. I've read it again. It's one of my favorites.
There's been a lot of trying to figure out alone, right? And this is from a good place, by the way. Like, what do you think is preventing you, especially seeing what's taking for 2 years from actually getting support and not try to?
I did expect to have trouble that first year being brand new. So I guess I would say the struggle has been more apparent this last 8 to 10 months as I've realized, okay, I'm doing this a year now, more than a year. I should be making more progress. I should be getting somewhere. So I guess the struggle I can say has been maybe a year. I'm going to try some different things. I guess if I was going to have improved how I have spent my last time, my time this last month, I should have been writing my goals down and just making sure that I had really given that option my 100% of my goal and concentrated harder on it. I think I needed somebody over me cracking a whip, saying, are you still working hard on that? Or are you just feeling like you failed and you've given up on that one too?
Right, because like that's going to be the thing that keeps you where you are, right? Continuing to do the same things even though we need help. Continuing to not be proactive. Like the tactics and stuff are important, but this is going to keep you where you're at, right? And so seeing that we've been struggling with this for a year, like, and we haven't been proactive, what has that costed you so far?
Frustration.
Boom, she's owned it. Now we've gotten what we've needed. She's saying, now I'm asking her what it's costed her. It's costed her frustration. It's costed her time, which she's about to get into. Like, without this, you're not going to get someone to buy. They can't own the fact that the reason they are where they are is because of them. If it's everyone else's fault, if it's the system's fault, their boss's fault, if it's everyone else's fault, they will not buy because they don't see it as a problem they can solve. And so this is really fucking important right here.
Time, frustration, probably reputation, personal growth, somewhat my health. I'm probably a good 15 pounds heavier than I should be right now.
What has it costed you with your family? Like the inaction, not being proactive, what's it costed you there?
Yeah, I mean, the time and experiences and memories of spending time with them.
And like, you're smart for that. That takes a lot of self-awareness to look in the mirror and say that, right?
So 2 things here. One is she's owning it, but I know you guys could feel there's still a little bit of hesitancy, a little bit of like ultimately skepticism in her voice, right? And so that's the first thing, because I'm going to address that soon. The second thing, I labeled her, right? This is more identity framing. It's like you're smart for that. And that takes a lot of self-awareness to be able to really look in the mirror and say that.
Like seeing we've been struggling with this for a year to 2, seeing what it's costing us. Like, is there any particular reason we've allowed it to continue happening without getting support, without admitting you need that help?
Number one, I should have been able to get this, and I was just kept telling myself, you're going to get it, you're going to get it, you're going to get it. There's that thing. There is really help outside of this. It's not just you got to get it together and you're going to have to do it eventually and get it together.
What did I just say? If it's not something that she feels like she can solve internally, no solution's going to matter if it's not something she feels like she could solve. And she just said that. And so now I have another mindset barrier I need to break down.
And I'm going to get it. Just keep doing what I'm doing. Do you see how that mindset has kept us where we are?
Yeah, but that's how everybody.
And you can see her facial expressions. You can see her body language. Like she's starting to get a little resistant. I can tell it's about to get combative soon. And so we're going to handle that.
Everybody else has gotten it together. So I mean, if they can do it, can't I?
It's fair to say, it's fair to think that mindset of like, even like looking like everyone else has been able to, right? I'll just get it. Not admitting that things aren't working and you need help. How do you think that way of thinking has kept us in this loop?
I mean, that's obvious, but by coming to you and saying, okay, I need something help. I have admitted that I haven't got it and I need help and I'm not satisfied with the way things are going. I'm not satisfied with having not made progress. I mean, yes, there's cost to it. I get it. If you're trying to convince me that the cost is worth the money, I know this.
We're going to handle this and we're going to handle it very, very directly. Again, a common mistake, a common pitfall I see a lot of people doing, a lot of reps as I review calls, is someone will show up the way she's showing up and you literally won't acknowledge it at all. Right? She started the call, we could tell she was pretty skeptical. And then now the last like 5 to 10 minutes, she's been bringing that skepticism back in. So like, let's just have the conversation.
Is there like some skepticism going on? I feel like, are you skeptical of help?
Oh, I'm skeptical all the time.
You can talk about that because I could tell.
Yeah, I mean, I am. I was trying to look more into what the coaching and what it was about, and I kept seeing the same people, the same advertisements and stuff. I mean, I know it's more important to put the time and the money into the actual help. It's like, okay, I'm seeing the same people's testimonials that I'm seeing later that they're the coaches. The person that was saying how much they helped me, they're like, no, they're certified coach. That's what it was looking like on the website. I keep pointing to my computer. You can't see what I'm pointing to. Sorry.
Which is not true, by the way. She said that the coaches that we have are people who they were burned out and then they just decided to be a coach, which is not true, right? It's which I handle right away. And again, I can feel her skepticism, and her skepticism isn't even coming from me. It's coming from the fact of, can I even get help? Can I even get past this? It's not even personal towards me.
That's not so much it.
Yeah, let's talk about it. Because, yeah, I can tell there's a little skepticism, a little tight. It's all good. Let's talk about it. What are we skeptical about? Talk to me.
And look at my body language. I'm smiling, I'm moving around, I'm diffusing because I don't really give a fuck if she lies or not. But like, let's have this conversation now, because in her best interest for me to be able to pre-handle the skepticism.
Wondering if anything can help. What's wrong with me has been wrong with me forever. I mean, I just don't concentrate that well. I can't stay on task as well as I'd like to. I can't get things done as quickly as I'd like to. Other people can do this. Other people do it. Other people do it well. I need to be able to do it well too. No. I take care of people. I just gotta be able to do it in a timely fashion.
And exactly as I just said, now we're having the right conversation of what's wrong with me. First of all, that's internalizing it, which is good. Two, now we're having the right conversation. She doesn't believe that help is even possible. She doesn't believe that she can actually get past this. That is really where the skepticism comes from. A lot of you take it personal. You think it's because of you. It's not. It's very much internal because of her.
What am I going to give up to be able to do it? Am I going to give up the quality of care to be able to do it faster?
Like, are you willing to break the belief of they can do it by themselves, so I have to do it by myself, right? Like, are you willing to break the belief of, like, this is kind of how it has to be? Because if not,
Well, I mean,
the path, if you don't believe it, it won't serve you well, right? This is why we're talking a lot about what's going on up here, and like I'm calling out the obvious conversation that we need to have, so that I can see if we can help, right? Are you willing to?
Yeah, well, I mean, I still have to be the one to get the work done. I can't let somebody help me do the work. Okay, I would love to know how somebody can help me do my work, because I can't hire you to do my work for me.
Of course, it'd be a little expensive though, right? And so, like, assuming you find, again, doesn't have to be here, it could be wherever, like you find something that you feel can actually help, where you feel like can actually get you to be more efficient and be more present. Again, are you willing to kind of break this belief of I have to solve this on my own and like take that hand and take that help if you find something you feel like can actually help you?
Boom, right there. Key, right? Ownership. Are you willing to break this belief that we just identified has been keeping you stuck, has been keeping you where you are? Are you willing to break that? Because that's what's going to keep you where you are. And we just got buy-in for it. That is another part of internalizing rather than externalizing that we just got there.
If I feel like it's actually going to help, yeah, but yeah, there's not as much doubt. I would love to find the help. I mean, I'm always telling my patients to accept the help if they find it.
That's right.
What was it that you saw about Dr. Gazelle that made you feel like, okay, there may be some hope here? An older lady who also has a fake tree screaming in the corner.
No, I was just so desperate for help. It sounded like it was legit, and I'm like, I need help. Maybe there is some of this. Maybe there is something that.
What made it sound legit? Was it the grades or what? What made it sound legit?
Now that I have that, we can move on to what was it about this particular ad, this particular influencer you saw that made you feel like you can actually overcome it. So now I'm going to have her sell me on us.
I'm desperate. I don't even know how legit it sounded. I was just desperate.
We're talking a lot about what we're getting away from, right? But where are we going? Like, let's say we're 6 months out.
And that was like a decent answer. It was okay. I moved on because like now we need to future pace. Now we have a good idea of what we're getting away from. Now I need her to clearly see what does success look like.
It's October of this year, right? Like, let's future pace. What does success look like? Like, how will you know you've been able to overcome this?
Okay, that's a really good question. I know it's going to take me more time, probably than a standard person to get this done. But if I could leave work within 30 minutes of my last patient, because I know I'm probably going to have to zip through my charts and just double check I closed or sent prescriptions for the day, that would be freaking awesome. I do expect that I would have to come into work the next day, maybe an hour early, so I could prep my charts. I still don't know these patients. I still don't know who I'm taking care of. They're all still freaking brand new, so I've got to come in and look at their history before I even go in the room with them. And so there's a lot of prep I need to put into my charts. If I can prep my charts successfully, so if I can just get a routine down where I'm coming in maybe an hour before work, so that I can just prep these charts and prep my stuff for the next day. Awesome if I could leave on time.
What time is on time for you?
Maybe 30 minutes after the last patient.
Quantify, important.
Maybe. Or literally when I have my last patient and only spend 30 minutes at home on my stuff. But I would like to be done. When I walk out this door, I would like to be done for the day.
Oh, yeah.
How do you think that would reflect your relationships, I should say? The fact you have a routine, you're done on time, how will it reflect there to know you've been able to overcome it?
I mean, I get the reward of being able to spend time with my family, be able to eat healthier, be able to eat with them, not eat out as much, do stuff at home. Oh my God, clean my house and organize it. Take my dog for a walk or play more frequently with my dog. Do something with my backyard. It's not a mess.
Yeah.
Just do the things that were my dream of being able to do in the first place before I started working all the time.
Right. And you brought up eating healthy a couple times, so maybe less Bucky stops. I'm saying like you sound like you're from Texas.
Yeah, I don't have a choice. I have to eat healthy.
And check out her energy too, right? Because now, first of all, she said that was a good question. Now she's a lot lighter in the way that she's answering, right? It's because I called it out though. Otherwise, we would have continued just having this fabricated conversation of her not even believing change is possible. Her not believing change is possible was the belief that we had to get to the root of in the first place. So this is, again, don't want to beat a dead horse, but this is why how you listen is honestly even more important than what you ask.
But eating boiled eggs for breakfast, yeah, it gets boring. or well, actually that's probably always what I'll eat for breakfast. But you know, I have to go to restaurants and order good food. I just don't have time to cook at home. I know which restaurants to go to get good healthy meals. I mean, I eat my fish, I eat my vegetables. I can't eat anything with gluten in it, so I mean, I pretty much just eat meat and vegetables anyway. So it's not like I can eat unhealthy.
The thing I'm hearing here is like it sounds like quality of life then, right? I'm not hearing any crazy outlandish big goals and like.
And look at the body language too. I'm leaning in. I'm verbal cueing, right? I'm affirming what she's saying. This is what allows them to continue giving you more and giving you more. That type of body language and tonality.
Having a quality of life,
like
being able to have a clean house, having the time with family, fixing the backyard. And like the reason I know I keep saying this, right? The tactics and stuff are less important. It's like the person you become. That's the most important part, right? And so when we look at that, we could call her Sam 2.0, like the woman we're stepping into. Like what characteristics or traits do you feel like she has, the woman we're stepping into who does have this under?
Now this is going to be pretty powerful right here because now we are about to identity frame her. Right? We're about to identity frame her even stronger. And as you could see throughout the call, I've been identity framing her little by little. Like you're smart for that, right? It takes a lot to look in the mirror. That tells me a lot about you as a person. Now we're about to very directly say, who are we right now? Who do we need to be to get to these outcomes?
I would love to spend a little more time outdoors. I would love to feel like my vacations are not catch-up time, but they're actually time where I can choose something nice to do.
We look within, like, what do you think we would have to let go of that maybe isn't serving us the best right now if we really want to have that, the life that you work so hard to get here to? What do you think we would need to let go of?
Ownership, as I said a million times in this video, ownership, ownership, ownership. And so she now needs to tell me that she needs to let go of these things that aren't serving her well if she really wants to be there, i.e. she needs to be a different person or a different version of the person that she already is.
Well, of course we have to let go of something if we're going to gain something, but never thought about that one.
All good. We can think about it together. Talk to me. Like, if we look within, what do you think? Mindset, perspectives, traits that aren't serving us the best right now. We need to
like release. Why don't you help me with that? Because I haven't thought of it at all. Why don't you help me with that? Why don't you give me some suggestions and tell me where you're going?
She's giving me clear path to be direct, so I'm gonna fucking take it. Take that shit. And this was huge. This next 2 minutes right here was huge in actually getting this deal across the table because I was just honest with this woman. I was honest with her the whole time, but I was very direct and honest right here too.
Yeah, you know, sometimes it's painful to hear what you need to hear, but go ahead, please.
And she's giving me permission because she knows that everything that I've been doing and saying, as direct as I've been, as honest as I've been, is in her best interest. And that's opening up the door for her to even be open to it. And I called out the skepticism. I didn't let it continue going and going. Again, otherwise we'd just be having a fake conversation, a fabricated conversation.
So you asked, so I'll tell you. It sounds like you're in your own way.
Oh yeah, that's very possible.
And what I mean by that is we have this frustration, right? But we're struggling to admit we need help, right? We're struggling to admit that we're like, we can't do this on our own and we can't just keep trying. And if I could have my genie lamp or whatever and look in the future, like if we stay the same, I think the reason we'll stay the same is because of being in our own way and because of not getting support.
Yeah, but, you know, yeah. Well, granted, but you know, up until seeing this person speaking on I didn't even think there was help. Not like I actually thought there was help for long enough to give it a lot of consideration.
And again, from the heart here, right? We also didn't look for help though. We didn't seek the help.
Didn't know there was help though. Didn't know. I'm for the first time realizing that's even an option. Okay. I thought I just had to crack down and get it figured out. I mean, I had sought help as far as opening up my books again on organizational skills, how to get out, you know, basically how to get out of my own way, and trying to figure out how some of these workarounds for my difficulty concentrating, staying on task, and not going down rabbit holes. You know, how to institute this into my.
That's common, right? Like the ADHD thing, not thinking you can get help. Like the people that you saw on her site, I spoke to them too, and like had to have tough conversations.
And so she's trying to like alienate herself that she's just this special case. Like she didn't know that help was a thing and she has ADHD and she has all these different things. She's trying to alienate herself as being just like so different. And so we need to normalize it. And so now I'm going to bring up the testimonials that she saw before the call and tell her that the reason that those women were able to overcome a lot of these internal patterns that you have is because of this, what I'm about to get into. The key thing here is separating her from her feelings, separating her from her limitations and normalizing it.
Conversations that I'm having with you with them as well, right? Mm-hmm. And so this is why I'm seeing the mental barriers that are coming up for you and I'm trying to help you break them down. Because like, I think we can help you out here, right? That's the first step of it though. You get me? You get why I would say that?
You're gonna say that one more time. Like I write it down. Yeah.
No worries. No worries. I'm saying that the ladies that you saw, I spoke to too, right? Who a lot of them had ADHD. A lot of them have been this way their whole life. Perfectionism, procrastinating. Like you're not in this bubble by yourself, even though it feels like it. The key thing for the happiest providers are the ones, not the ones who have the most resources, but the ones who can get to the most resourceful and the ones who take ownership of their problem, right? Which it sounds like you're taking steps towards doing with what you just said. The ones who take ownership and the ones who get resourceful. So maybe like a more direct question, Sam, is like, are you ready to take that ownership and to actually be resourceful if you find a path that you actually think can help.
Yeah, I mean, all I have to do is believe it can actually help, because that's the biggest part. If I don't.
And another identity piece there, right, is the people who have the outcomes that you want, this is how they show up. Are you willing to show up like them if you find a path that can help? And she said, yes, that's even more buy-in. And so I'm not saying that there actually wasn't objections here, but if objections do come about, there's so much ammo now. There's so much pre-framing that I've done that the objection is going to be smooth. It's going to be easy, or they just won't happen like it did here.
I don't believe it can actually help. I can get the best help in the world. I'm not going to grow from it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why I keep asking, like you said, keep asking the same question. That's why, right? Are you willing to believe that there is an other side, that you don't have to keep living this way and that there's another side? Like, are you willing to adapt that decision making?
That's what I'm hoping. Am I willing to? I think so. I mean, that's what I'm hoping. So yeah, I think I'm willing to accept that. Oh God, I'm gonna have to be so prayerful. Make me humble enough that I can do this.
Do we have your permission to keep you accountable and empower you to that?
Well,
Like if
you have to find. Yeah, you will have to help me set some goals to keep myself accountable. I will have to identify some goals that are going to keep me accountable.
And she's asking for accountability, which is like, objection handle me if I decide to be in my own way again. This is key that we need for someone like this.
Because what's the alternative? Like, we have to look at the other side, right? What happens if we continue another year, another 2 years, we are not proactive, we continue staying in this loop? What are the consequences then? Like, what happens if nothing changes? Another year or 2 years, what happens then?
Subtle cost of inaction right there. Subtle cost of inaction. Because there's still a question that needs to be asked, but it's, again, we don't need to follow this exact framing and scripting and whatnot. It's what happens if nothing changes? Like, what are the consequences there?
I'll be grumpy. I will have missed too much of my daughter's last year at home, and she'll be going away to college, and yeah, we'll be distant, probably more distant than we should be. My husband will probably wonder why he wasn't supportive enough to help me get there. My yard will still be a mess.
And don't take this the wrong way, I'm not attacking you. Are you willing to settle for that, though?
That's why I'm here, because that's not what I want. I want to be healthy. I don't want to go to church and pray to someone asks me, you still church 24/7? I want to.
No. You brought church up a few times.
And so she gave me some decent consequences there. Her and her daughter grow apart. Her husband doubts why he's not doing enough. Her house is still a mess. Her life is ultimately still in shambles. Now, she brought up church a couple times. You obviously don't do this with everyone, but man of God myself. And so she brought up church a couple times. Biggest way to influence someone is what already influences them. And so she's already influenced by church. She's already influenced by God. And so that's where this analogy that I'm about to, or this parable I'm about to bring in, comes into play. It'll make it click so much deeper for this woman.
Right? There's an interesting parable of the guy who's drowning in an ocean. I'm sure you're familiar. If not, I'll run you through it. He's drowning in an ocean and he's praying. He's like, God, please save me from this ocean. He sends a helicopter with a ladder and they're like, take my hand. I can get you out of this. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. The helicopter flies away. A lifeboat comes by. And he's like, and he prays, he's like, God, please help me. The lifeboat comes by. They offer a hand. And he's like, no, God's going to save me. And then another lifeboat. And then he's angry at God. And he's like, God, why aren't you helping me? I keep asking you. And he's like, I just tried to help you 3 times, right? I tried to send you support 3 times. And so, like, I love the fact that you brought God up, right? For you, if the lifeboat goes by, skepticism, feeling like you could do it on your own, not being humble, like you said, that's what's going to keep you where you are. Like, are you willing to take that hand, to take that lifeboat, if you feel like it's a real lifeboat that can help you get out of these thoughts of skepticism? There's nothing to change.
I'm just imagining the barriers. I'm imagining.
She's seeing that shit now. She's seeing that God has been sending her the lifeboats and the plane with the ladder and all these things, because this is what already influences her. This is about reading the room. And so when you have people who are heavily influenced by their faith, assuming you're a person of faith too, this is really key to put in, because the thing that's going to keep her where she's at is feeling like she has to figure it out on her own. And so now seeding this in, right, again, if she were to give me an objection, we could bring it back to this. We could bring it back to the identity. We could bring it back to accountability. There's so many levers. And like, we're 50 minutes in. So is that long? Like, sure, that's like pretty long. And we haven't even started the pitch at 50 minutes. I'd much rather have a call that's long, that I don't have to fight versus a shorter call, and then I'm drained at the end of it. Obviously, I still get objections, but I rarely even get objections like that anymore. And when I do get objections at the end of the call, I'm able to handle them fairly quickly because of all of this heavy lifting that I'm doing earlier on in the call. And this is what I'm trying to get across to y'all.
I'm sure I'm smart enough to recognize when something's going to be beneficial and jump on it.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. I think you are too. From the way you're describing yourself, from the way you said you're...
Boom. She's accepting the identity of she's smart enough to know if something's going to help and jump on it. I'm going to reinforce that identity. You are smart enough.
The way you just answered right there, I can hear the transition happening just internally. The way your tone shift, like, I can hear it, right?
Continue reinforcing that identity. I can hear the tone shifting. I can tell you mean that. Continue reinforcing that identity, because she's going to act in alignment with who she believes herself to be, who she wants to be.
The accountability, if you're open to accountability, if you're open to taking the lifeboat, like, I think we can fucking get you past this. I think we can help you for sure. This is what we do, right? You know how you're saying, like, You want to have this routine. You want to have it under control. You want to be able to be there with your family, with your daughter. The question is how? How do I actually do this? Because we're not going to come into your job, right? Like what's missing? That's the thing for you. That's exactly what we do here. So I'll start by telling you what this is not, okay? This isn't one of those things where we're going to throw a bunch of videos at you, a bunch of PDFs, and say, figure it out. You're on your own, Sam. Fix yourself. That's not us.
And this is now leading into the pitch, and you could see how powerful this is leading into the pitch with the conversation that we just had. I was like, dude, we can fucking get you past this. I know we can get you through this because you know how you're saying X and Y, right? Well, that's exactly what we do. So I'll tell you what this is not. I tell her what we don't do, and then I ask for permission to present, which I'm about to do.
We're also not going to throw you in a Zoom with 50 other NPs and say, everybody close your eyes and meditate, and all your problems will be solved when you open your eyes. You're just going to meditate them away. And it's certainly not therapy. So I'm not asking you questions about your childhood, right? We're only looking forward. We're only looking ahead. When it comes to be the best provider you could be, efficient, right? The best mother, though, and the best spouse, the best partner, all in one. Like, how can I balance these things? That's exactly what we do here. So if you want, I could throw my screen up here, show you the exact roadmap, and we just keep going from there. Would that help you out?
I will point out, I did have a very good week where I was very productive. I had made sure that I hit some church obligations and some other obligations, and I got some charting done too. And try to get, make a little progress getting caught up. On weekends when I try to do nothing but charting, I just kind of get in my own way. It's like, oh, just this mountain is just so huge. I just can't.
She just literally bought into my frame of I kind of get in my own way. Now she's accepting that. She wasn't accepting it earlier.
And it's just, struggle. And after the last couple of weekends I've had, I know that there is time to get it done, that I can get it done. I know it's possible. I just can't seem to get there. Why am I not getting? I know it's possible.
This is normal. Like we're just in our own way in a couple different ways, like what you just said there. Like this mountain is so huge, so we kind of put it off, like the procrastinating, right? So let me share my screen here. Let me know when you see my screen. Let me show you.
So that was it. From there, I went to present. She pretty much resonated with every single slide I presented, and she moved forward without any real objection. There wasn't really much of a fight at the end, but it was because of everything that was done prior, right? All of the heavy lifting that I did previously. So a lot to take away from this. I'd encourage you to listen back again and again and again and take notes on what you're going to implement, because you don't have to throw all of it into your calls. But I'm willing to bet that there's a couple things in there that you can take away, maybe one or two, right? The key things, the key reasons of why this worked is A, leveraging that spouse guilt and getting that out the way early, calling out the skepticism when I felt it and when I sensed it, getting her to internalize as opposed to externalize and taking full ownership and accountability of where she is at, and then future pacing her into an identity of who she wants to be, the woman that she wants to be, and the person who would take action. Because the person who showed up onto the call, who doesn't believe change is possible, who's skeptical, who has all these limitations, is not going to be the person who moves forward. It's going to be the person who she wants to be. Like I said, you don't have to implement all of it, but I'm willing to bet you're probably not leveraging enough spouse guilt, right? Maybe you're allowing prospects to get away with externalizing their problems rather than internalizing it. Maybe your prospects are super skeptical and you're not even saying anything about it, right? Maybe your identity framing and your future pacing isn't as strong as it needs to be. So I would tell you to not throw it all at your calls, but take one or two of the things that we covered here, do it in your next call, and let's see what happens, and let me know. Hit me on Instagram, Twitter, wherever. So if you made it this far, comment identity. As always, again, I appreciate you immensely, all of you, for staying this long, for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, make sure you have those post notifications on for the next one, and I will see you guys in the next video.